This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, it's the First Alert Weather Breakdown with meteorologist Evan Thomason. Hey, I am him. Welcome on, welcome in. It is Monday, and most likely the first full work week of 2026 here for you. Back into the new year, and back to work you go out of the holiday break here. And we have an intriguing weather week, I will say. Just a time for us to go back to work. Everything throughout most of Christmas week and throughout New Year's has been fairly consistent. There's been a little bit of some ups and downs in the temperatures, mainly ups. Oh, man, we broke near record highs between Friday of last week, which was the 2nd of January. We broke record highs then. We broke record highs around Christmas Day as well. Mainly the 26th of December was the all-time warmest December day on record in Shreveport. So a very warm 2 weeks we've had. A little bit of ups and downs in the temperatures, but you know what the last 2 weeks have been? Completely rain-free for us, which has been good for plans, but maybe not so good for our drought, which continues to increase. That's all part of our exclusive content here for the day today, is taking more of a thorough look at the drought. Now taking a look at how our holiday weather has affected our fit here for the ground across the Arklatex, which is, again, not good. We need the rain, all right? And thankfully, we do have it coming for you on our thorough 7-day forecast in just a couple of days. All this and more is going to be brought forth to you on the First Alert Weather Breakdown here for the day today. So this is our rundown. We're talking about near record high temperatures, yes, this week. But thankfully, that whole stretch of where we have near record highs, I think is going to be overall short-lived. Just going to extend for like 2 to maybe 3 days, and then it'll be fading away here for some cooler weather for you ahead. So unfortunately, yes, dealing with more record highs here for you. That's great for those of you that really love summer, but for those of you who've been looking forward to just cooler than average conditions, especially since we have been in December and January, those will be coming back around here in just a little bit behind the storms. Storms will be coming back here soon. We have all the details on that now coming up here for you, and we'll see how that affects our drought outlook, which came out last Thursday. We got another drought outlook coming for you out. It refreshes weekly, so every single Thursday here for you. We'll see exactly how that changes here in 3 days, as things are likely to get even worse then and show up on that drought monitor here for later on this week. So we're tracking all that and more. Again, First Alert Weather Breakdown. So let's get straight into the forecast here for you. Again, thanks to those of you watching out on our YouTube live stream as well. Heading into your Monday, wanting to know how your work week is going on and how it is going to shape up. Again, we have lots of, as I first started out this episode in this podcast, everything's changing. Lots of maneuvering around different conditions here throughout this work week. Overall, it is warm, if I had to describe it. But we're eventually going to get chances of storms, and eventually we will get a cool down for you on the way. Let's look at the Mattress Plus Skycam out in the downtown Shreveport. It has still been foggy, but to be fair, you can see downtown, which means the fog is trying to lift up. Earlier on this camera, you couldn't even see downtown. So thankfully, the clouds should be starting to part away around this time frame. And I'm hoping within the next hour or so, we will get some sunshine back out here for you a little later on in store. Meanwhile, in Texarkana, our Texarkana camera is a little bit higher off the ground. I think it is in elevation is the highest out of our 3 cameras, I believe. So this is in the thick of the clouds. You can't really even see much on that camera out there. But getting into your weather headlines, we have 2 big weather headlines here for this week entirely. After we talk about what today is bringing. Today, cool temperatures. A little bit of a warm up into the afternoon. Definitely warmer than average temperatures compared to what January normally is, but it's still cool compared to the rest of the week, which is going to be featuring lots of incredible warmth. That's main headline number 1. Again, near record high temperatures starting tomorrow, and that's going to almost carry in, day out through Friday here for you. So this is going to be persistent. It's going to be continuous. It's not something we can get, unfortunately, rid of. That leads us to headline number 2, which is kind of our saving grace for both the incredible warmth and also our drought, which we're going to discuss later on in this episode. Thursday and Friday. I know my face is hiding that a little bit. Let me show you that that's actually saying Friday. It is Friday. Essentially the end of the work week. Both days we're expecting storms. This is not, I'm seeing whether this is coming in on Thursday or Friday, and I still can't tell, which has been a part of the forecast sometimes, where you kind of just narrow it down to 2 days, and then it's like, oh, when we get closer to the day, oh, it's only on this day or on that day. No. I'm pretty sure it should be raining on both days with 2 separate rounds of storms coming on by. We'll get into that in just a little bit as well. But let's go over the current conditions out and about. Nothing on the radar to track, but let's go over our temperature outlook here for you and see how the temperatures are faring in the days ahead. Right now, temperatures upper 40s, lower 50s. Cool out, but trying to warm up a little bit. Our cloud cover, I will say, has helped us maintain some cooler temperatures here for the morning hours, helping to limit how much we warm up. Here's the thing. Once the sun comes up, then it helps to really ramp up the temperature a lot. Even for the day today, again, with highs well above average, we reach near record highs really once we turn the page into tomorrow here very quickly. That's going to come into the region here for your Tuesday and stay in place throughout the work week, because the main issue is not just this high-pressure system. It's how this high-pressure system kind of forces the winds around it. If you notice clockwise rotation, and you look at the jet stream that's coming into the Arklatex here, it continues to give us winds out of the south and west, running parallel to what we call these black lines, which are isobars. They always run parallel and never cross or intersect these isobars, which is what we call pressure levels. So this helps to determine that the high pressure system is down here. In short, the high pressure is rotating around clockwise and continuing to give us winds rotating this way from my blue arrow here. Again, clockwise, coming out of the southwest, rotating clockwise into the Arklatex. So what's out of the southwest? Well, lots of incredible heat, especially for January standards, and also a good amount of dry weather as well. That'll be keeping us at least dry for the next 3 days until this shows up. Again, that's main headline number 1. Main headline number 2 is relief, essentially. Cold front coming out of the north, finally reaching far enough to the south. There's been plenty of cold fronts that have come through over the last 2 weeks across the United States. Here's been the big problem. Most of them have only been able to reach far down into the northeast, and that's been it. You've seen lots of national weather headlines about snow hitting areas, as it typically does during this time of year. Snow hitting areas from like West Virginia on northward. But the thing is that these cold fronts are powerful enough and they don't reach south enough to be able to include the Arklatex. And so we've been essentially dry and just getting kind of little cold spurts here and there. But this one looks to be substantial. It looks to be the most powerful of the cold front that we've seen maybe in months, honestly, coming on by. Not just in terms of the storms, which we'll get to that in just a little bit, but also the cold air coming behind it. Finally dropping us down to where January should be, and this happens in time for the weekend to cool us on down then, and I think most importantly, sustain cold temperatures in. This is not just going to be something this is not just going to be a pattern where we warm quickly back on up into next week. I think we get cold here for this weekend, and then we stay cold here for next week. Again, sustained. It stays here. But I do want to mention again, that cold front doesn't happen until Friday. So up until that point, very warm temperatures, especially into tomorrow. But today, still upper 60s. Way above average all around the Arklatex, but this is as cool as it gets throughout the week. So, yeah, temperatures are only getting warmer from here on out. 66 in Marshall, 68 in Carthage, 67 in Center, 68 in Shreveport, 66 in Natchitoches, 64 in Bienville. Again, those temperatures really start to ramp up once the sun comes out. But then here's the thing. For tomorrow, this is the biggest change in pace around here. We turn on almost the heat on like a light switch. Highs are going to be in the mid to upper 70s, if not touching the lower 80s here for tomorrow afternoon. It is going to be scorching here for December standards all around the Arklatex here for your Tuesday. And as mentioned earlier, this will continue on repeat. If anything, temperatures could actually drop a degree or two each day after Tuesday, down to the mid-70s there for your Thursday and Friday. But that's still wild to think about that we have 70s for consecutive days in January. So again, that's why that's our biggest headline number 1. T-shirt and shorts weather. wild to think about for multiple days on end here for your January, essentially. All right. So now getting into the lows here, those also do warm up very tremendously. In fact, 3 out of the next 4 days feature morning temperatures either at or above 60 degrees. So not only are we talking about t-shirt and shorts weather in the afternoon, we're also talking about it for the morning hours here for the most part too, all around the region. So keeping us incredibly warm here under I would almost call it a heat dome. I want to call it a heat dome, but it really isn't because it's January, but I think you get the point. It's as hot as January could be, essentially. Now let's get into our saving grace, our relief, whatever you want to call it, our next chance of rain in store here for Thursday and Friday, and our next shipment of cold air coming on the way. Here's the details behind it. Again, it does happen here for the second half of the work week. That's been giving us our next chance of storms, definitely. And some of these storms, for the first time in a while, I think what separates this system from the last few is that this system could actually contain severe weather. We haven't really had any severe weather issues here for at least a month or two around the Arclitect. So we're dealing with a little bit of a severe threat. I can't get into any specific severe weather threats yet, mainly because we have too many question marks around just how severe is the system going to get. And that kind of just depends on a little bit of some different parameters that we can't fiddle through yet, especially because we're still 4 days out. But what you need to know is just to keep yourself weather aware a little closer to the end of the work week, closer into the chance of severe weather on the table. And then after that, cool down comes on in. Again, that's going to happen for the weekend. It still stays pretty warm with this rain around here for Thursday and Friday. So let's check it out on 2 different future tracks here for you. First, again, this one emphasizes that we are dry today all the way through Wednesday. 3 more dry days up into the middle of the week. Then we get into Thursday. There's that round of rain coming on by, but as noted by the long-range future track there, it looks to be weak. In fact, I really think most of this rain is going to happen in the northern half of the Arclitect with just some light rain in for your Thursday. So these will be non-severe storms. 1 round of storms coming on through. Remember I mentioned to start this forecast, we have 2 rounds coming on through, which means I think it's going to rain on Thursday, just only some light rain. And then we get into Friday, and that's when we see these yellows and reds showing up. I'm going to drop back into the future track here for you. Again, that indicates more substantial rainfall, first of all, number 1, and maybe the chance of severe weather, number 2, coming on in somewhere around Friday afternoon. And thankfully, for all of you looking to get out and around the weekend, Friday night still doesn't look good. It looks like it's going to dry up slowly but surely on Friday night, so Friday night plans could be in question still a little bit, especially if they involve outdoor activities on some grass. It still might be soaked at that point. But heading into your Saturday and Sunday, things look a lot more better. Maybe some cloud cover still left behind. But things are looking a lot more dry here in time for this weekend on both Saturday and Sunday. So to reconfirm with you, again, 2 separate rounds. 1 on Thursday, brief little break, looks like on Thursday night and a Friday morning, and then another separate round of storms coming in for your Friday before that finally releases itself for the weekend. Now, some specific details about these storms first and foremost before we talk about the weekend a little bit more. Here for Friday, we do have, again, the chance for severe weather. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already noted a little bit of a severe risk, mainly out for areas to our east, to be fair. This is mainly out towards the Monroe DMA, eastern Arkansas, and further into Mississippi. But this slight risk does include the eastern edge of the Arclitect. And to be fair, anytime the Storm Prediction Center kind of puts out one of these risks that's like 3 to, in our case, 4 days out still, it means they're pretty sure this is going to bring a legitimate chance of severe weather. Now, the bullseye for this, thankfully, as of right now, is positioned just off to our east. But as we get closer and closer in time into Friday, this is going to expand, which means that next way it would expand is a little bit out westward to include more portions of the Arclitect. The point is, still watch out for our chances of severe weather growing here with the system on Friday again. As for the rainfall potential, it doesn't look too bad. So it looks like this is going to be an actively moving system, which further means that I don't think we're going to be dealing with flash flooding with this threat specifically here for this weekend. I think it would be mainly towards hail and strong winds if we are watching out for specific threats, but that's kind of yet to be determined. We'll have to fiddle through that a little bit closer to the day here for Wednesday and Thursday, but still picking up substantial rainfall to help us out with our drought period, which any bit helps, honestly, in our case. 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain And I know this says next 7 days, but this is pretty much our only system coming on through. Between Thursday and Friday, those are the 2 rounds that are coming over the next week. After that, it's rain-free here through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday both look beautiful. If you have any plans, they should be good to go. Just note that it will be much cooler. These are going to be high temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s. That's where we should be in January. Those mornings could be pretty cold, 30s and 40s for your mornings there for Saturday and Sunday morning. So please bundle up if you got any plans there for the weekend. I will say that as well. So to summarize everything up together, it's a little 7-day forecast now for you. Next 3 days, nice and dry. Big story here for the middle of this week is just how warm we get, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. 78 degrees there for you. Quite wild in for the Arklatex there. Then we get into Wednesday, same thing. Then the rain comes back. It's still going to be incredibly warm for Thursday and Friday, but more of our focus obviously turns to the storms. I got a greater chance of storms with the chance of severe weather. Again, if severe weather would come, it would come on the round happening on Friday, not on Thursday, I believe, at this point in time. Thursday still containing a chance of rain, though, regardless. And eventually that'll gain way to a beautiful weekend. And I do want to show you those weekend lows again, dropping down to the 40s there for Saturday, 30s in for Sunday. But still an incredibly warm week up until that finally comes on through. So we're going to have to wait a little while for us to dip down the temperatures. But boy, are those temperatures especially going to skyrocket here for tomorrow and Wednesday. Hope you're ready for it. It's T-shirt and shorts weather back again here in January. Hope you're ready for the ride. Now, again, all this rain, which is coming again on Thursday and Friday, is going to help us out from our drought. So let's take a look at where we're at. We are going to take a look at where we're at the drought location and drought monitor. We're going to outlook all of that and see just how bad it is and reaffirm our burn bans in place. Again, all coming up after a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome on back into the first weather breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and thanks for joining me here for the beginning of this work week on Monday. We're going to go now into the full drought outlook. I mean, we haven't had substantial rainfall through Christmas week or New Year's week, and you know this is going to rack up the drought, especially because really December wasn't even that rainy to begin with either. I can't remember our last chance of measurable rainfall, but I think it was in the middle of December. Still quite a weeks away. And now we're still talking about dry weather, at least for the next 3 weeks. Again, thankfully, Thursday and Friday is at least going to help us out some. But I don't know how much it's going to help us out in the grand scheme of things. Because believe it or not, I didn't even pull out the extended 12-day forecast. But that's looking very dry at this point in time, which is not really that great. Again, we are at least getting a good system of some rain coming in here for Thursday and Friday. But we need more consistent rounds of storms to help us keep ourselves out of droughts, keep ourselves out of burn bans as well at this place in time. So what I'm trying to get at is the only salvation that we have and the only rain that we're seeing out of the entire 12-day forecast is coming on Thursday and Friday. That's it. Still, the extended 12-day outlook, again, looking very sunny and very dry here at this time. So enough chit-chat. Let's get into the actual drought monitor. Here it is. Around the Arklatex, first of all, everybody is in some chance of drought. Yeah, I mean, we are not clear of any drought at all anywhere around the Arklatex. In some areas, though, it's worse, which is what I'm here to pinpoint out, and that's in particular on the corners. Idabel, McCurtain County underneath a severe drought here at this point in time. Same for Natchitoches as well. But you see, over half of the Arklatex, at least finds themselves in a moderate drought, which is all you need to just demonstrate that it's, first of all, and I know this is self-explanatory, but the ground is incredibly dry out there in those areas, and we need help for it. Need help watering it, need help taking care of it, especially so we're not running the risk of wildfires. The best conditions out and around, if you had to pick, or from Longview up into Texarkana here at this point in time. But this is as a result of this drought monitor being like this. This is why these burn bans are in place, which have continued to keep coming on in, day out. It seems like a new one comes in every single day. For us, around the Arklatex, it's Natchitoches, DeSoto, Caddo, and Bossier parishes. Those are all under burn bans. Same thing for East Texas, some of our counties out near there, Rusk, Panola, Shelby, Harrison, and Bowie counties. And also for Arkansas, Columbia and Sevier counties as well. Everybody, not most counties and parishes underneath a burn ban, again, here at this time. Essentially what that means, just don't burn anything, all right? Unless it is controlled, and essentially the government helps out with that. Governmental programs help out with that. But anyways, the point is, just don't burn any wildfires here at this time. I got somebody in my comments being like, I miss doing that, and I can't wait for the rain to come back. And hopefully the rain coming back on Thursday and Friday will put an end to some, if not all, the burn bans here for this coming weekend. That'll be good for the ground and good to help us out all in the end. But again, 3 more dry days still to get through until we get into that point, which continues to rack up the dry conditions and the drought ongoing across the Arklatex. All right, that's what I got here for you across here for the day today. Thank you very much for watching the First Alert with a Breakdown. CJ Cartledge will be back as your host here for tomorrow's episode on the First Alert with a Breakdown here for Tuesday. Same time, same place, here at 10:30. All right, you have a good one. I will see you again Thursday. I'll be back here later on this week on the First Alert with a Breakdown. You have a good one. Have an easy one here for the day today. Enjoy the T-shirt and shorts weather. Just make the most of it, okay? I know it's been incredibly warm here over the past 2 weeks stretch, but I try to at least make the most of every single weather condition as they come and go. I just like change. I do want winter to come on in. It's just I also enjoy T-shirt and shorts and making my attire easy going out the door as well. But anyways, you have a great rest of your day. First Weather Breakdown will be back at 10:30 tomorrow to go more over the storms. We'll definitely have further evaluations and see exactly how things are going to carry on out into what day is tomorrow? Oh, how things are going to carry out into Friday when the storms come around. Thursday and Friday, that is. Anyways, have a good one. See you later. Be there again for tomorrow. Be there, be square, and most importantly, stay weather aware. See you tomorrow at 10:30.